This week on My Global Adventure.
And all of a sudden, it was like night and day.
This is one of the most incredible things I've ever done.
Day 58. It's hard to believe, but here we are in Cairo, Egypt. We arrived last night from Istanbul, and I have to admit, I'm a little nervous. Cairo is Africa's largest center, often referred to as the mother of all cities. It's big, noisy, and shrouded in mystery, not to mention shrouded in smog. 97% of the population of Egypt is Muslim, and today, being Friday, is a holy day. The streets and markets are packed, and so is one particular square where people have gathered to pray. It was supposed to just be a regular walking through the aisles kind of day, and it turned into something a whole lot scarier. We were up on the first story of a cafe. We could see from the background that there were a whole lot of police kind of off to one side. We were wondering what that was about, but they were just sort of there, and there doesn't seem to be any disruption. And then all of a sudden, it was like night and day. It's like a perfect example of a swarm. You can't even tell the people, you can't even tell them apart. They're not even individuals anymore. It's very powerful. It's very powerful. Our crew expanded in Cairo. We had a guy named Abdu who was a press attaché, basically a censor. As soon as that started, Abdu jumped right in and made sure that that didn't finish on film. Also along for the ride is our Egyptian guide. His name is Ahab Hafiz Rahib, but he prefers to be called Ringo Bob. Which one is Saffron?
That's it.
We're told that Bob has a degree in archaeology, but what's more apparent is his allergic reaction to the spices in Cairo's oldest market, the Bab el Swala. It was bound to happen that we would have at least one bad guide, and Ringo Bob was that bad guide. He had his facts wrong half the time, and he always seemed to be doing some kind of backdoor deal with somebody, and I think things cost 3 to 5 times as much as they would have normally just because we had Ringo Bob with us. There's some kind of weird change that happens when you come to Egypt as a film crew versus when you come to Egypt just as a tourist. It was like alert lights just went on in their heads and everything went out of control. It was so ludicrous. It was difficult to not have that taint the entire experience of being in Egypt. Of course, Ringo Bob is with us when we head out to Giza to get a first-hand look at the Great Pyramids.
Over there we get the 3 pyramids, which are considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
The only one still standing.
Yeah. Cheops, the greatest pyramid, is considered the hugest.
Now, on the top of the middle pyramid, there's remnants of what the entire pyramid used to be covered in limestone.
Yeah, limestone, high polished white limestone. They got it from the quarries of Tura.
I came around the corner and I saw the Sphinx and I thought, holy cow, that's actually pretty striking. It was smaller than I thought it would be, but to me it was pretty mysterious. And the longer that I stared at it, the more intriguing it became to me. It almost seemed to like transport me to that time.
Watch your head, Asia.
Wow. As the heat of the afternoon takes hold, we were able to negotiate a deal to go inside the Pyramid of Cheops by ourselves. Heads bowed and crouched over, Bob and I climbed the ascending passage to King Cheops' chamber.
So you can imagine how the workers, they were suffering while they're doing it.
No kidding. get about a third of the way up, and it's a very steep incline, but suddenly it becomes an optical illusion, and it seems like you're actually going down.
This is one of the most incredible things I've ever done. Oh my God. I'm climbing through an ancient pyramid. How does one describe something like that?
This is the doorway into the tomb of King Cheops, or Khufu. And they only let 150 people in the morning and 150 people in the afternoon. But we're special, which is translated as this. And we're going to go in all on our own here to explore and take a look at what's behind these doors. As with everything in Egypt, there's always bakshish involved, and far be it from the Egyptians to miss it at their creme de la creme, which would be the pyramids. So this is actually the tomb.
Yeah.
This is where...
This is the sarcophagus. Here, King Cheops was resting for his eternal.
So we did have to bargain a little, as we always did for everything there. We did have to pay a little extra to get our time alone in. And I can probably say this because it didn't come out of my pocket, but I think it was worth it. The pyramids were as incredible, if not more, than anything any book could ever say or any movie could ever show. It's beyond description. You really just have to be here and touch this stone and stand next to this incredible monument to get a feel for how phenomenal it is. I don't know what Ringo and him had worked out, but what should have been 15 to 40 pounds turned into a 500-pound ride. Obviously, the Great Pyramids are an essential stop for anyone visiting Egypt for the first time. To see some of the treasures found inside these pyramids, you need to come here, to the magnificent Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Also keep an eye out for another feature of Egyptian tourism, the tourist police. They were everywhere. Every time we tried to leave the hotel, they would swarm and they'd come at us and, where are you going? When are you going to be back? When we showed up at the Cairo Museum, by the time we had got through all of these tourism police and all of the people that always get involved, we were paying $1,200 US for 1 hour. We have actually negotiated ourselves down to a deal here. Ladies and gentlemen, our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to shoot as much as we can in there in under 1 hour. Strap on your best shoes, baby. We're gonna demonstrate the true meaning of run and gun.
So we are going to start from the beginning, from here.
It's the best place to start, the beginning. Is this an actual mummy?
Yeah, of course. It's a prop, but from the Greek-Roman period.
Oh, okay. I just saw my first mummy. Some people might not recognize his name as well as his wife's name.
Her name means the beautiful who is coming, never teeth. You see, they can see a very delicate mouth like that, and also the nose. It's very delicate.
She was beautiful.
Egyptian scribe is a very important job. It was a very important job in the Old Kingdom, especially because all the princes from this time took this title.
So how old would this be?
It's about 2,500 BC from the Old Kingdom.
So 4,500 years old.
Yeah, of course. This is the oldest statue we found for the King Cheops. It's about 7 meters high, made of ivory. And we know this is a statue for Cheops because we found his name in the right, beside the right ring.
This was jewelry that King Tut was wearing when he was buried.
We have a lot of rings here. It's the mask of the King Tut. We found him on the mummy itself. He's wearing the headdress. On his forehead he has the cobra and the goddess of Lower Egypt, and the vulture is the goddess of Upper Egypt. And
The shoot actually ends up being kind of fun, mainly because our guide is such a good sport and game to play along. Fantastic performance, under an hour. Thank you very much. You're a professional and impressive under the pressure.
Thank you.
Thanks. But of course, within minutes of our hour being up, we are shown the door by the tourist police. After our whirlwind tour of the Cairo Museum, we decided to take a leisurely ride on the Nile in a traditional Egyptian felucca boat. When we decided we were going to do a felucca boat ride, I thought, the price is going to get hiked. So I looked it up, and it was supposed to be anywhere from 15 to 40 Egyptian pounds. What's your name?
Yasser.
Yasser?
Yes, I'm manager Boots.
Oh, okay. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Here again, our lovely guide, Ringo Bob, surfaced to make this mysterious connection to this guy who was going to be our felucca boat dealer. And I don't know what Ringo and him had worked out, but what should have been 15 to 40 pounds turned into a 500-pound ride. I thought, there's no way we're going to pay 500 pounds to get on this felucca boat ride. I was the one negotiating. We were going on a felucca boat ride. We were not going for more than 40 Egyptian pounds. And that was all there was to it. Come on, 500? We know we can get this for 35 somewhere else.
400?
No, I'm not even listening to that. That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
What do you like?
35.
3,500?
No, 35 pounds for an hour.
35 for 1 hour?
Yes.
350.
As long as you're working triple digits, we're not even talking.
300.
Well, what we'll do is we'll go up further along here and we'll ask a few other people what they're asking. If you're the best price, then we'll come back. Well, you know what? It doesn't hurt for us to go down, check some other prices. And if he is a good price, then we'll come back and do it.
You want per person 35?
He wants per person 35. That's...
Twice?
No, that's not the deal. That's his last offer. We'll go check another place.
Okay, no problem. As you like, give it.
Okay.
As you like, give it. Okay, now.
We're clear on this. It's 40
And
Egyptian pounds.
Yes, and you nice, giving driver tips.
Certainly.
Okay.
Certainly. He wants 60?
Yeah, and 10 pounds for...
Didn't we just have a deal over there for 40? 40 pounds plus I'll tip him. Thank you. We're going sailing. Well, we're finally floating down one of the world's most historic rivers, yet not without some hard bargaining. Despite the beauty that surrounds me right now, my experience in Egypt feels tainted by these constant attempts to take us for a ride, and I don't mean down the Nile. Hopefully, tomorrow we'll be able to avoid them altogether. Shireen had a choice, and she chose it for her own very good reasons. And it made me just sort of step back and say, okay, Asia, don't be so judgmental. While most Egyptians are Muslim, a small percentage are Coptic Christians. The Coptic Church is based on the teachings of St. Mark, who brought Christianity to Egypt during the reign of the Roman Emperor Nero. The Abakir St. John Church in Cairo is one of many Christian churches in Egypt, but is especially significant for the miracles that have occurred within its 1,300-year-old walls. One pillar in particular is the site of several manifestations which have appeared here. Our guide, Rafayette Mars, tells us that many parishioners believe they are the faces of Jesus and the Virgin Mary. And these formations were not here before? Like this shape appeared?
Appeared when a bird appeared around that.
Okay.
This is a cross appeared from 4 months ago.
Really?
4 months ago. The third picture is the face of our Jesus.
So it is, look at that. And this appeared recently as well?
And appeared from 7 years.
Oh, okay.
But that from 4 months.
4 months ago. Can you tell me what the miracles of this church mean to you?
Yes. When my father was very ill, his right hand and his leg hand don't move. When we pray in this church, in any church, we ask from our God to help him. After praying, our God cured him in everything, and he is now naturally.
I'm curious, you're here all the time. You interact with Muslims on a regular basis. What is that like for you to live in an area that's predominantly
We like
Muslim?
all the people in the world.
Doesn't make any difference.
Christian, Muslims are the one body. The one body in Egypt. And we hope all the people came to visit our church.
While my visit to St. John's Church makes me feel a little more at home, I have to admit I find a lot of Egypt strange and confusing. Partly because the Muslim experience is so removed from my own. For example, many women I see wear a scarf or a veil, and I'm curious to know more about this practice. Fortunately, the MGA web audience shares my curiosity when they choose my Egyptian adventure.
How are you, Asia?
I'm fine. How
Fine?
are you?
Okay.
Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome in. Welcome in.
Shireen El-Sergani is a Muslim woman who several years ago decided to cover her head as a sign of her faith, even though it isn't mandatory in Egypt. She was kind enough to share insights with me into her religion and this very important personal choice. Now, you didn't start wearing the veil until '96, right?
Yes.
So why did you choose to?
I thought it will be difficult. After I did it very easy. And I felt great.
You take it off when you come home?
Yes, I take it off.
You do, and then if somebody comes to the door...
It's like you will not go and meet the people at the door without wearing a blouse.
Right.
It's the same, yeah.
Okay.
It's exactly the same. You know, here, it's very nice in this country. You have the freedom to do whatever you want to do. You want to wear a scarf, you wear a scarf. You don't want to wear a scarf, don't wear a scarf.
So,
I wear it, my sister don't. You want it long, you want it short. You do it as you like. Nobody will tell you wear, nobody will tell you don't wear.
I'll try to squat down for
Okay,
you.
Lala, you can stay.
I knew that talking to Shireen El-Sergani was going to be probably one of the most important things that I would do. So I was nervous. But thanks to Shireen being who she was, it ended up being a great encounter. So relaxing to be around. Such an open, friendly, kind woman who was just ready to answer any question I had. After our heads are both safely covered, we venture outside as two veiled women doing a little shopping.
By experience, this is what I found out after wearing it, that I'm more free. And also, I felt more precious. When you talk to me, you will talk to me for me, not for what I look like. This is how you deal with a woman, because women is not a sex object. And the point is that you're trying to make yourself beautiful, not your outside beautiful. Because the outside beautiful goes, but what stays, it's you.
I was always under the impression that veiling was oppressive, that it was forced on women, to force them to deal with the fact that men can't deal with their own sexuality. But after talking to Shireen, it gave me another option. They had a choice, and she chose it for her own very good reasons. And it made me just sort of step back and say, okay, Asia, don't be so judgmental. It's just different from what you know.
Thank you.
As I say goodbye to Shireen, I'm grateful for the time spent with her. Time given freely with no backsheesh in exchange. It leaves the crew and I wanting more, to experience the city on our own, away from prying eyes and outstretched palms. Mission impossible? Well, we're about to find out tonight. That this conversation might be recorded by more than just you right now.
It's an experimental movie.
It's not even on macro.
It's his thumb.
From the minute that we stepped into Egypt, we have not been able to do anything on our own. Smile, you're on candid camera. We're gonna do a little Mission Impossible trip here. We're gonna actually try to make it to an Egyptian open-air theater without any guides, without any assistance, without any following, and hopefully without any harassment. More than anything, it was just aggravating for most of us, the fact that we were being followed all the time. They have a beautiful country and they have so many things that we could have shown that were great, and all they did was throw this paranoia in our face to the point where we just tended to want to push back. We had our frustrations with Egypt. It wasn't the easiest country we did. But I think when all was said and done, when I look back on it, I thought I was really grateful to be there. Every time I went out in Egypt just on my own, to do my own thing, everyone was really friendly, and I had a great time.
The surprise here is that without our guides and without all of this extra help to get things going smoothly, we came in, we paid only the ticket price, and we walked right through.
We caught on film the fact that it's only when we were a film crew that we were so hounded like that. Because as soon as we didn't come out as a film crew, as soon as we came out as just a bunch of people going out, the roadblocks were gone. We ended up having the encounter with Egypt that we should have been having all along.
Coming up on My Global Adventure.
There was a lion? There was a lion?